corporate governance in that country is dysfunctional.
The most important job of a board of directors is making sure the company has the right CEO.
Being a director today is not a 5-minute job.
The need and importance for good, qualified, well-educated, and current board members has been critically important.
We've learned from some very high-profile cases that we have to do better.
Let's face it, boards are in different phases of adjusting to what is the new normal or what is considered excellent today.
The corporate boardroom, it's a group that's under the microscope. Your independent thinking, the reason you're there is to ask the tough questions, it's to provide that sort of broad fiduciary oversight, and at the same time, there are multiple stakeholders out in the real world who are ready to fly-spec every single thing you're doing.
The world has become more volatile. Expectations from shareholders are soaring, both traditional shareholders and activist shareholders.
Being on the board today requires a lot of time, a lot of effort. Everyone's prepared, everyone takes it seriously, everyone really cares, partially because it's the right thing to do, and also because their reputation's on the line.
We're all bringing our A game every single meeting, both individually and collectively.
The notion of risk management is a new concept, but yet a critical one. Strategies are being remade. So all that's converged to cause the board setting to be much more dynamic than it ever has been in the past.
It's incredibly important to constantly be looking out at the horizon. What are the risks out there? What does the global economy and the U.S. economy look like? To constantly be educating yourself and using the great resources that others provide to get the kind of education you need when you go into the boardroom.
I think most boards are prepared intellectually for the challenges, but I'm not sure most boards are prepared emotionally. And by that I mean, until you've had a problem, you don't realize how bad the problem is.
The thing that catches companies off guard more than anything else are those risks that no one's really identified yet. So not only are you prepared to deal with the cyber attack or the unfortunate litigation or regulatory investigation or shareholders who are suddenly camped out outside, but you also have the unknowns.
Probably the biggest thing that's happened to boards in my tenure as a director is the number of regulations that have been forthcoming from the government. Many of which I think have the right purpose, but they've become so intrusive in terms of the details.
There's no shortcut to spending time, understanding the business, doing your homework, reading the documents, understanding the industry, understanding the organization that you're governing. The people, the talent, the culture.
Corporate cultures today are defined by their sense of ethics and social responsibility. They care more and more that their ability to have a sensible profit is matched by a commitment to people and planet.
What's always been true, and couldn't be more true today, is the value of diversity in a board. Certainly all the typical gender, race, international diversity, but I also think diversity of thought.
When I first went into business, the executive compensation was usually set by the entire board, generally driven by one or two directors who were more outspoken. Today, compensation is certainly the flavor of the month in the press, and most boards take compensation very seriously.
It's time to open the books and show the world how you think about compensation, and that's exactly what's happened. Folks who serve on comp committees and then the entire board are very focused on what are you doing to build not only shareholder value today, but in the future as well.
Today, with all the social media and all the electronic ways of communicating, a company that's not transparent will soon lose a lot of its shareholder enthusiasm.
Boards are forced to play more offensively today. It's always important to refresh, to see what the current state of governance in this case is, and I think that's where NACD plays a critical role.
To be in a room with smart people all marching in the same direction, willing to question one another, willing to challenge one another, but in a highly collegial, collaborative way that leads to success is just, I think, one of the best feelings in the world.